And we're back, and we're going to talk about the Jews blowing up people's pages.
Oh, dude. Oh, man.
Here we go.
That is horrifying. That is
Those
actually...
wounds are fucked. Like,
They're
it's
fucked, and like there's a lot of collateral damage.
Oh, yeah, like...
But if we talk about that, we're bad, I think.
Let's talk about it.
You're listening to the Art and More podcast with your hosts, Nathan and B.R. Nathan is a Canadian illustrator with a couple years of military experience, and B.R. is a British anarchist that moved to the States. Both are passionate shooters and community builders. Together, they run the Seaburn art page. Enjoy the show.
Dude, I had a really racist target idea, and I really have to do it.
This is just the show now.
This is the show now. This is... Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Art and More podcast. We're opening with racism, as usual. So, target idea, Haitian cat eaters. Haitian cat eaters, you know, so you've got the target running towards you. In one hand, he's got a machete, kind of like Hutu versus... Like, you're a Tutsi, and he's a Hutu. And the other hand, he's about to take a bite out of a cat.
I was gonna say it's a shoot no shoot target or a hostage target. You gotta have the cat like held up in front of him, partially covering the target, and you have to avoid hitting Mr. Whiskers.
You have to avoid hitting Mr. Whiskers. Two variants. One of them's got like a little English bulldog or something.
I said a Haitian dick eater.
A Haitian
But
what?
do it like a sausage, a Haitian dick eater.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what the fuck
Do
is
you
this?
remember that video?
That's right.
Yeah.
No,
Dude,
I
that
didn't watch
video's-
that video. No.
Yeah, I
talked
sent it to
about
you in the
this.
group chat.
Oh, okay,
I sent it. It's in there.
maybe I did
I
do
can
this.
send it again.
No,
so
I'm all right.
This week we have Chad from Craft and Lore and Blitz Def and many things. He is a man of many
Horse of
hats.
Fire. This man was charged with photographing us at the Idaho meet and greet with two Grunts Inc.
And those turned out amazing. Those turned
yeah,
out
they did.
Thanks,
very,
guys.
very good. So before we get into you, Chad, I'm going to... So Chad here sends me a message the other week of like, hey, do you have that video of the Haitian dick eating? And
You sort this out.
just saw this. He's got to prove that it happened. So I went down a rabbit hole. It has been scrubbed from the internet. It is
Good.
not around anymore.
Good.
There's like one tweet of Elon Musk saying, "Yeah, I watched that happen," and like everything else is a fever dream. I could not find it on X. I wasn't going to go like deep dive, like what I don't know, like Live Leak or something, but I was 100% sure that it happened.
It wasn't like a Mandela effect thing where
Yeah.
it didn't really. You had to prove it out.
Yeah, I did find it in one of the old group chats, so it did actually happen. But it's very weird that video just kind of got like collectively scrubbed from the internet. Like all of the links were dead, everything was dead, and I wonder why. Is there like a secret cabal of people that really don't want us to know that happened?
I don't want to know that happened. I
I'm
support.
sending you the
I
video again
support
later.
this. No, I support the secret cabal wiping this from the internet. I'm pro secret cabal.
They genuinely had me questioning my sanity for a minute there.
That's the internet now. Like, unless it happens in front of me, I don't believe it happened. That is universal. If you tell me about anything, I will say lie. That did not happen.
Yeah, everything's so... I keep on seeing the AI videos of all of the presidential candidates. Like, Hillary Clinton is
Talking
robbing...
P. Diddy.
Yeah. And, like, today there was just one where, like, Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Hillary Clinton were all in a metal band. And it was really well done. Like, you cannot trust anything anymore.
I'm trying to find a fucking post that's related to this exact fucking issue.
You know what you're not going to be able to find? The Haitian dick eating, because it doesn't exist.
I
No,
don't doubt it.
we-
I don't doubt
We
it.
saved the Haitian dick eating video.
We did.
BR. It's in that Gorilla Medic episode, the video, but it's censored, so you don't have to look at.
Yeah, he blurred it.
I blurred it out.
Wait. You edited it into that video?
It's the opening. You have to watch it.
You
dude.
have to
It's
watch
so
it.
funny.
Fucking
It's
god!
censored. It's censored.
I'll watch it.
Come on, it's topical. Now, first they're eating dicks, now they're eating pussies.
That's a good line, but how did it come to this? Guys? How did it come to this?
I'm on my fucking game today. It's this 12-hour group, I think.
Nathan actually just spitting one-liners instead of pausing with the fucking beach ball of death. Stuttering.
Oh, dude, it's like I have been. It's not the gout anymore. I'm finally medicated for that, so my brain works. I guess that's the excuse I'm going to use.
Man's just like downing lion's mane coffee.
Yeah.
I've been trying to feed him some Irish whiskey here, but
That's not gonna help.
I just
will
learned about his
revive-
gout, so
Yeah, you
He's
will
got the
revive
King's
his gout
disease,
in
dude.
one shot.
As Sir Ian McCullum said, you are neither a British or a peasant.
Yeah, we're still working through the plague and some other nasty shit.
Yeah. Some other nasty shit. Anyways, yes, we have Chad today of Craft and Lore and many, many hats. Chad, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I started a little leather goods company called Craft and Lore in 2013, and it has done well over the last decade. So besides making kind of P&W lifestyle handmade leather goods, wallets, belts, and bags, I've been actively training and shooting a lot for the last couple of years. I also became proficient, I guess, in photography and a little bit of video work.
You do not give yourself enough credit. Holy shit.
Proficient. I am certainly a monkey that can operate a camera.
Yeah. My guy, your HBO quality. You got that Game of Thrones shit on lock.
Well, I appreciate that. I would disagree, but I have found a lot of joy just shooting photos of, well, leather goods, lifestyle stuff, hiking in the back country of Idaho, but also just tactical work. So I've been getting odd jobs with local companies here, doing photography work, and have a lot of fun doing it too. So that's photography's kind of become a skill set. Other than that, I've been really trying to figure out and kind of start a brand that works within the, I guess, tactical community industry. So recently, Blitz Defense is really, man, it's like brand new startup, single SKU kind of a thing. Besides some ATF is gay leather wallets, I've got I've got a little ARD for the EOTech that I'm currently working on and getting actually some wholesale orders for too. So
That's awesome.
that's catching on. And then I've got just already a bunch of several models started that I need to 3D print and get fine tuned. But I don't know. I'm just a creative, so I'm constantly trying to find things to work on that are just, I don't know, fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, though. It's like talented in a lot of ways and chasing your passion, which is kind of the whole thing I like to go for with self-sufficiency. Like we get a lot of messages. I'm sure you've had people talk about this too to you, BR. People starting their own businesses and kind of becoming unreliant on bosses or structures
yourself,
or working.
dude.
Yeah. And you've done exactly that. It's really, really impressive to see.
It was definitely a lot of work. I'm 42 now, but
I'd never guess.
no,
Dude.
okay, I do look younger.
I
yeah.
thought you were like 30.
Oh shit,
Yeah.
I do get that. But I've started up a lot of things that have failed. So it's kind of you're learning with every failure what not to do. You know, it's a process to where, you know, even Craft and Lore started when I was 30, and man, I wish I would have had something that took when I was 20, and then I could have been cruising for a lot of those years. But it's the drive. Like you just keep trying over and over, and as a thing washes out, you jump over to a new thing and try.
Yeah, but it worked for you. Clearly, we're sitting in his gorgeous office at his mahogany table, surrounded by leather chairs, and there's a butler who's been bringing us whiskey and coffee, and it's very nice.
Very
It's
nice.
me. I'm the butler.
He's the butler.
I'm also the janitor here.
I told you he wears a lot of hats.
Yeah, no, multi-talented Renaissance man. I clean the toilets too. Very well. So like, when was the last time you had a boss?
Oh, it was in 2013. So in 2012, my background is graphic design, web design. So that's a lot of my creative outlet.
That explains a lot.
Graphic design can lead into graphic design is really the the Mr. Gadget of career paths. Like I started as a graphic designer too, and it's just like the world is your oyster more or less.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about having an understanding of visual as aesthetics, looking at lines and knowing that lines matter. So even in like our wallets, like I'm looking at the lines, the angles on just our handmade wallets, and I go like, are they pleasing lines to us? And as humans, like you can look at a woman and you can go like, there are pleasing lines. You can look at an object and go, there are pleasing lines. A vehicle, your car, and you can go like, some lines are good, and a lot of it is still preference. I still like old square body trucks for lines. But there's a lot to be said, and for a graphic designer to look at the world, the fonts that we read, just so much stuff that once you have that understanding and you can apply it to your trade or your craft, I think subconsciously it draws people who don't even realize they're just attracted to the thing and couldn't tell you why, but it's the lines.
It's really important to think about, because what you say is something that so many people don't think about, like your font choice, how a picture or a video is edited, how any of these. Yeah, I just pulled out my Craft and Lore wallet with the same $2 bill I got from Chad like a year and a half ago. I kind of liken it to a movie. So you have a movie and like the photographer, director of photography did a really good job and everything's perfectly lit. Everything is really well acted. The writing is fantastic, but one aspect is off. Let's say the sound design. And everyone notices. It's something no one would ever think about before stepping into that movie. But hey, this is mixed really poorly, and you don't know exactly why the sound's bad or why it's putting you off, but everyone suddenly hones in on it. It's one of those things where if it's bad, everyone notices. If it's good,
you don't need to have an understanding of it to know it's bad.
Exactly.
And that's the crushing thing about so many of these creative practices that you just mentioned, and I'm sure all three of us have felt it in one way or another, is like you can have years or decades being excellent at something, but if you fuck something up, someone without a day in that profession can perceive it and be like, that's shit.
Yeah.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah, they won't be able to tell you why, but they'll know.
Yeah, they just know it's shit or fucked up in some way.
And there's so many businesses within this space, especially like the outdoors, tactical, like all of these communities that don't really have that down. And I've kind of seen through all of my consulting and everything else. And again, this is just my opinion from the outside, but people think that they can do these jobs themselves. And you can learn yourself 100%. Like YouTube exists. All of these courses are available online. If you're willing to put the work in, you can learn fucking anything these days, which is the beautiful thing about the internet. But a lot of companies run by like a 55-year-old, 60-year-old dude.
I can make my own logo.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think of companies that like they'll hire someone to do all their social media and all their branding and their graphic design and be like, okay, we're going to offer you $15 an hour. Come move to fucking wherever.
We're using Comic Sans.
Yeah. It's like, okay, like cool. All of our product photography is done on a cell phone.
It's almost...
Sorry, edit that out.
You motherfucker.
Yeah.
Nathan's just swinging for companies these days. I'm like, no.
No, their rifles are shit. I don't want to. I don't even care if we burn that bridge.
Oh no.
Okay, they're gas guns. They're gas guns, but still probably censor the name out.
Okay.
Yeah, the bolt actions are actually pretty nice.
Yeah.
I before we get down the rabbit hole, what got you away from graphic design in the first place?
Oh man, so graphic design and web design is a thing you could pour hours in to make really beautiful art, and then you could hand it over to a client, and they go, "I don't like this. Can we use Comic Sans?" Yeah. And you want to eat a shotgun, and you can't put it in your portfolio anymore. And then they go, "Why are you charging this price? It probably took you like 2 hours to make this, right?" And full like e-commerce built websites, just hours of like pixel perfection. And so one day I'm like, okay, for just me, I'm going to make handmade leather goods just for me. I'm making it for myself. And I'm going to take photos and share it, and people are going to see it. And all of a sudden that was getting more attention. And I would make somebody a wallet and they would just, I don't know, like fall over themselves. This thing's amazing. Yeah. Their life has changed over this wallet. And I'm like, man, and I couldn't even get that for like, a really expensive e-commerce website that's going to change a business's whole income infrastructure, everything. And so you have an appreciation for your art found in leather goods that I couldn't get out of graphic design.
Yeah.
That I struggled to, at least. I know people can, and it's out there. It was hard for me. So it was easy to start spending more time on leather goods. It was making more money. They were just selling regularly. Early days of Instagram, and when it was Wild West, before Meta owned it, stuff would just fly all over the Instagram, and all of a sudden sales would just roll in, and it was cool back then.
Dude, I miss those days so much.
They were good.
Yeah.
They were
Especially
good.
when everything was like, everything depended. There was no algorithm. It was
Yeah.
like, you upload something at 5:30, everyone at 5:30 one season.
Yeah.
Like everything is chronological.
What a crazy idea.
Yeah. And now we just found out today we've been shadow banned for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I was noticing like, hey, only 4,000 people saw our story compared to what the normal numbers are. That's
We have
crazy.
110,000 people following us, and like many people saw it. It's
Oh,
like, okay, what's the point of this platform?
We found out what shadow banned us was my drawing for Dirty Civilian with the frog. It was So I had to pull it. I appealed it. We'll see if I have to pull it. But in the description I said I took a crack at this, and that got flagged for drugs.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Take
So
some
I got
crack,
a
kids.
Yeah.
On
I got a
war,
big
once
Instagram
used a
account. On Craft and Lore, we have, I think we're 120K, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I had a post from 2017, and it was like a flat lay photo, and it was just like your wallet, your keys, your gun, kind of your pocket dump, they call it.
Yeah.
And that was from 2017, and it was just my personal carry items. And so it was about 2 years ago, Instagram flagged it. Just ancient history. It's so buried far down my feed, and they nerfed my account, and that was when I think they had the algorithm switch right around then. But for having 120K followers and just getting so little views, it killed my account. But I kind of gave up on Instagram, and
I understand that.
Yeah.
We went through and we deleted everything with like what we found really will always get you a shadow ban is this shape. And you can't see, but I'm like circling around a trigger guard and a trigger. We everything that had that shape in it got flagged. Anything where it was covered by a hand or it was in someone's arms or something like that.
Stack a wallet on top of the gun and then take the photo.
Yeah, it immediately it wouldn't trip the algorithm. I think it's like a simple AI tool that detects pictures of guns based on the general shape, and that's the identifier between just machinery with lines and a gun.
Yeah.
But we ended up having to pull a bunch of stuff. But apparently we can't use the word crack anymore either.
Which sucks, because I love talking about drugs.
I think everyone should do crack. It's my favorite thing about America.
I think crack is one of the I was about to say one of the few drugs you shouldn't do, but there's so many these days. I don't know what the kids are doing.
Dude, I've never even seen crack.
I don't think I have either.
The only time I ever went to California. No, I've been to California a few times. Never willingly.
At least crack, you had to really make an effort to engage in.
Yeah.
But now, fentanyl's the thing.
Oh,
and they look like little candy pills, and little kids are taking them. And it pours into Idaho from Washington all the time. They're coming down the 90 corridor. And cops getting chases with these mules all the time, just chasing these guys down. But too many kids are just dying over this stuff because it looks like candy.
Yeah, that's
fentanyl ruined drugs. Drugs used to be cool, and now fentanyl has made drugs very gay. And I personally take very big issue with that.
Yeah. Oh man, no, it's. I've never even seen cocaine. I mean, as a good noodle from
I haven't either, and I've never been really even remotely interested in. But now that I'm older and wiser, I'd give it a try. I'll try anything twice.
It'll probably help your productivity. I was thinking about it. It's like I got a lot to do in a day. This art's got to get done. I'm not really feeling any. You know what? Maybe like a casual cocaine habit could be.
What was that movie, Horrible Bosses, where they break into that guy's cocaine and they spill it all over and they're trying to vacuuming it and they're all getting high on it and they're like, I'm so good at cleaning up cocaine.
Cocaine is honestly anyone and it's a very small list of people I've known who do it. They're all such fucking losers. Cocaine in the movies is always so cool. You take it, oh wow, I'm fucking invincible. I'm such a badass. It just makes you a mouthy dickhead. It's like the total opposite of my vibe. Being around anyone who's on coke, I just want to fucking like backhand them and be like, "Get the fuck away from me, you loser!"
No, just to give that out there, I've never done coke. I don't suggest you ever do coke.
Yes,
so.
yeah. So all the
Stay away from drugs, kids.
The fun bit is indeed just a bit. The like 5 people who listen to this podcast that do coke regularly are just punching the air right now.
The small but not non-existent contingent of art and war cokeheads.
But I mean, fuck, if you can make it work for you, go ahead. I guess.
Shout out to you.
Live your best life. Don't give it to, I don't know, kids, your pets. How did we get on this topic? I feel like we were talking about the very interesting man that is Chad, and we just ended up going down a coke hole.
Sorry, it was funny.
It's okay.
A rabbit hole for funny is always allowed.
Yes. Do you mind if we pause for just a second? I've drank a good amount of coffee and whiskey. I'm going to pee.
My lord. Okay. We will pause.
Yes.
We'll be right back after this message.
Buy cocaine.
Oh, God. Hey guys, it's BR with a quick public service announcement. If you're enjoying the Art and War podcast, help us spread our message of liberty, preparedness, and community building by following us and giving a 5-star rating on Spotify or on your platform of choice. Your support makes a massive difference in the show reaching more listeners. Don't forget to check out our Patreon and sponsor links in the description. Your support keeps the conversation alive and thriving. We massively appreciate you guys, we have done amazing things with you and hope to continue to do so. Thank you very much, now let's get back to the show. And we're back, and we're going to talk about the Jews blowing up people's pages.
Oh, dude. Oh, man.
Here we go.
That is horrifying. That is actually...
Those wounds are fucked. Like,
they're fucked, and like, there's a lot of collateral damage.
Oh, yeah. Like,
but if we talk about that, we're bad, I think.
Nah, let's talk about it.
Yeah, well, let's talk about it.
Let's be real. Like, can you imagine if the US just, like, committed like, okay, we're gonna target ISIS or whatever, and apparently there's homegrown. If it was a couple of years ago when there was all of the hullabaloo about homegrown terrorists in Europe and potentially America and all that kind of thing, imagine if like the fucking CIA, MI6 and all of that was just like, yeah, we're just gonna blow up pages on ISIS members' bodies, whether they're in London or fucking Kansas City or wherever they might be.
Yeah.
And people just wandering around, their pages were just fucking exploding in supermarkets, like 1,200 odd. Like, is that how many there were, like, reportedly? It was
quite
like
a few. Last number I saw was 1,000, but
yeah,
I think the next day a bunch of radios detonated as well.
Yeah. So 1,000. Yeah, like a 1,000 plus, let's be conservative, 1,000 plus incidents of however the fuck they did this, induced explosions on devices in public places all over the place. Like,
those videos that were just popping left and right were wild. And when they first came out, I'm like, there's no way like a pager battery can explode that big. Like, I was immediately like in shock. If that's true, then I'm like, I'm worried about every electronic device around me right now.
Dude, anything with a lithium battery.
Yeah, I mean, but man, have you seen those videos? Like how big that explosion is? Like
those were not just lithium.
Yeah.
Batteries.
So the Silly Gooses at Forward Observation Group, whatever, shared something in their stories just today, and then I went and checked and read up on it, and they were saying they believe their the Hamas pager supply line got intercepted, and that they were loading explosives into them. And I'm like, okay, that would explain at least how big those booms were.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, how many people use pagers these days?
Well, they had to because of how much Mossad was intercepting their cell phone traffic that they were trying to go to lower tech. But
exactly,
then they got blown up for
it. You get a shipment of 1,000 pagers coming into the country. There's probably, but then again, like, if you're a psychopath, it's a brilliant idea. Like, if you do not give a fuck about collateral damage, it's brilliant. You are crippling.
I mean, we're talking about Israel here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
They have a long history of that.
Yeah, dude, when I used to live in Abu Dhabi, it's like I was young. I was like 12, 13, but every single day, it's all the newspapers were like, yeah, Israeli Apache helicopter raises a playground. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, sick.
All right. This is kind of the world. Yeah. It's kind of weird how different other countries, especially kind of in the Gulf area, report on the whole Israel-Palestine thing compared to how they report on it here.
I mean, everyone has a different flavor of propaganda, but like, it's
Yeah.
just funny when you get to see like the perception of, you know, US allies, US and NATO, whatever the fuck, allies, who are like always in the right. Like, our media, you know, unless it's absolutely impossible to deny and it's just like so in your face, and even then, nowadays, they just won't air the fucking story. But, you know, a few years ago when they would have had to have reported on it, they'll like, there's a lot of apologist kind of approach to covering it. It must have been interesting seeing from the other side. It was just like, yeah, Israel just leveled a playground of children with an Apache attack helicopter.
Yeah, it's like
That's
very
what
matter of
happened.
fact. It wasn't like, yes, inshallah, we shall rise up against the Jew or whatever. In this case, it was like, no, this just happened, and you know there were 11 casualties, and they didn't get their target. Like, okay,
That's just a Tuesday.
yeah, it's Tuesday. And it was like every other day. It was just the newspaper there, which makes sense because it's right in their backyard, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, seeing all the videos, and it's kind of undeniable. It's like, okay, you're going to set off 1,000 explosives at a time. There's going to be collateral damage.
Yeah,
And
like you have no way of knowing where these fucking people are. But like,
yeah,
on the topic of like how they got the explosives in them, you guys have, I'm sure, seen the meme of like, you know, the Hamas Hezbollah rockets or whatever, and it's like my tax dollars, and then the Iron Dome responding, it's like somehow also my tax dollars. Like, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck happened with these pages, where it's like, whoa, I that's a crazy thing to say. Exactly what happened. My assumption is we probably are providing shit to them through some squirrely bullshit where we
100%,
control
like-
their weapons and arms. Because I mean, Israel has funded Hamas. Like that's like one of those you know 4 things the CIA has fully admitted to, and it makes you sound crazy. But like, it's the same exact thing with Hamas and the Mossad. Like, there is so much fuckery where in fighting their enemy, like the lines have become so blurred that like supplying them is also part of the war effort against them.
Yeah. Well,
Sometimes
it makes sense to have an eternal enemy. Like, if you don't, if you want everyone to stay together on something, you give them a convenient boogeyman. It's always been that way.
This is George Orwell, like classic.
Yeah.
The continuous war.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's like there's absolutely no question that if Israel wanted to just steamroll Palestine, they probably would. It would destabilize the Gulf. I'm not an expert. I'm a fucking podcast comedian artist dude. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I'm going to preface everything with that.
Just to be clear, we don't know what we're talking about.
We have no idea what the fuck we're talking about.
Don't listen to us.
We're a satirical
No.
podcast.
Do your own
Imagine-
research.
I couldn't ever imagine 2 years ago sitting down and talking about the like about Israel with a drink in my hand, and nowadays I'm like fuck it, what's Israel done this week? What
But
genocide
in
are
this case, it's
those
actually
little
like-
dudes getting up to?
Yeah, the atrocity this week is both like interesting and a little unprecedented.
Dude, I have never had so many videos of people missing fingers and having holes blown in various parts of their bodies on my feed.
Yeah.
Like this is the most I've ever seen in one instance.
Yeah, 100%. Because it happened everywhere at the same time while people were like getting groceries. Like, Hamas operatives aren't like digging tunnels. That's the Jews' job. I mean, no, they both do. They meet in the middle sometimes.
Why are the mattresses so small?
But like these people have lives. They have families. Like, some of them, I'm sure. A lot of them, I'm sure. They buy groceries. They have day jobs. A lot of them, probably.
Well, that's how you fight an insurgency is, you know, you keep your head down, you work the day job, and at night you grab a rifle and go and fuck with people.
Yeah, and here you have like Ahmad Al Abdul whatever Jabari,
Actual Hezbollah name.
yeah, and he has nothing to do with Hezbollah, but maybe he bought this pager off Facebook Marketplace or something, and now he's got like a 5-inch hole in his sternum.
I was surprised only one kid was reported for the casualties.
Yeah, I saw at least a couple kids in the videos.
Did you see a couple?
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man,
Just,
Israel
like,
must be
being
so
carried
disappointed.
into- Yeah, but also I'm thinking about the flow of information that comes out.
Right. So, I mean, how many guys were driving vehicles when it popped and they had to, they crashed over that.
Yeah.
A moto guy, I saw that video.
Yeah, or like had the pager in their pocket with a bunch of other metal objects that were flung into people around them.
Shrapnel.
Yeah.
It's
like-
fucking wild. Like, that's war nowadays, gents. Like, if you're connected to Wi-Fi, they will fuck you up.
Yeah.
The idea of war, like near peer or even like an asymmetrical war, it is horrifying. The amount of technology and the things that people do.
Man, the drone stuff coming out of Ukraine and Russia.
Oh, it's horrifying.
I think the one that was really scary was the drone that was dropping oh man, what is it? Phosphorus or hot fire? It just
the thermite.
That's
yeah.
what it was. Just sprayed a row of trees.
Yeah.
All of that is horrifying. And
yeah,
just the idea of this happening on domestic or anywhere, it's very real and very sobering. Like
it just doesn't have the glory and the honor that, I don't know, ancient Rome, when you're squaring off with another guy off with the swords or something.
You got all your boys in the phalanx.
Yeah.
You're fighting the hordes of British.
Now you're running around a tree while a drone is circling you, goofing with you before it blows your legs off. And you have to either eat your own gun or you're hoping your buddy will shoot you in the head if you have them there.
Yeah, it's
terrible.
Fucked up.
It's absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, that's...
Yeah.
Probably the best word to describe this. And these are all just like kids. It's all kids. And,
man-made horrors beyond our comprehension.
Yeah. I really hope that we don't come to that or, ugh. I have to... I scroll by that stuff now.
Yeah.
I cannot. It just bums me out.
Dude,
I have to kind of do it in like little pills where it's like, okay, this is the reality of what's happening outside the bubble that is at least North Idaho. Like we're pretty low, like crime-free area up here.
It's super nice here.
It's really...
Dude, since getting to Idaho, I've been keeping basically like a count. I think I've seen still in a year and a bit 3 homeless people.
Yeah.
The total.
Yeah.
Then these guys are lying. I just went to Idaho and there was like roving gunfights in the streets and just
the Ku Klux Klan was marching downtown. Do not come here, guys.
Don't come here. Do not move here.
It's kind of a shithole, actually. You'd be better off staying wherever you are.
This area exploded during the mostly peaceful protests, and I have a lot of buddies that were in real estate, and they would always like question people like, "Why are you moving here and buying property?" And it was always because we saw the entire downtown strapped to the hilt in full kit, like militias roaming to defend the town against the threat that Antifa was making online of coming here to burn it down.
And you know who never showed up?
I think they turned around once their scouts kind of saw what they were up against.
I've heard that from like a not insignificant amount of people.
Yeah.
That like the boys all strapped up and, had their plate carriers on and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And like apparently, and again, this is conjecture, people just turn around. Yeah. Nothing bad happened.
Something about an armed society being a polite society.
It's kind of funny how that works. Yeah. And like my town, which is population-wise about the size of Coeur d'Alene, like other than the obvious ones that we won't talk about here, there's been 1 murder in the last 10 years, and that was in 2015. Like property crime is non-existent. People just don't lock their doors or their cars. It's nice here. Yeah. Don't come.
You'll hate it.
No, the most interesting thing about like everyone grabbing their guns and showing up in kit is like there wasn't one unifying like political idea behind any of that. Everyone was just kind of like just trying to maintain life. Like we don't want the crazy shit. Like fuck off with that. And it's like that's really all you need as kind of a rallying cry to have some fucking civility is like, don't fuck with me. I'll fucking dome you. Like, it's as simple as that, dude. Don't fuck up my life.
Yeah. And something I really like about it here, too, and just Idaho in general, is the amount of small business there is. Like, coming from the city and having driven and lived in a bunch of cities, cities and especially, like, rich, kind of, like, hyper-lefty areas really hate small business, whether they admit it or not. Like coming from especially the East Coast Canada, everything is just another corpo store. Everything's a chain.
It's
everything
so exhausting.
is owned by the same like holdings firm. Here, it's very small business friendly. So it also lends to the fact that like people got strapped up because, hey, we don't want people burning down Uncle Gary's fucking automotive repair center.
Well,
They don't want people to burn down the coffee shop your cousin works at.
dude, the
It's
whole fucking country, like, that it was all. Just gonna go straight out. Like, BlackRock loved that shit. If not, like, incited, and people, other firms like BlackRock, the amount
yeah,
of shit that's been bought up in the aftermath of all of that, and
it's wild.
just turned into like corporate bullshit. It's
It,
like,
it really
oh
makes you
yeah,
think about it.
well,
Like,
it doesn't take too much thinking. It's like so
yeah,
fucking obvious. It's like they
yeah,
just bought up all of that shit. I took a weekend trip back to Phoenix. Sorry to the homies who are out there. It was way too busy of a trip to see everyone, but like all of Phoenix, there's massive, massive plots of land that were previously unused, and post 2020, or like, there was a few shitty businesses or homes on that land. It's all been bought up, and there's just empty warehouses in like Southwest Phoenix as far as the eye can see. Like, they're just holding the land with these empty, to-let warehouses. It's like, okay, what the fuck is the plan here? Like,
yeah.
it's just
I
holding real estate.
I saw that in Canada too. It's after 2020, 2019, and during the forced lockdowns where no one was allowed to operate their businesses or go outside. Um, Downtown became a ghost town.
Yeah.
Everything was boarded up, or we're going under, closing, so and so, and now it's all corpo. 100% of it is corpo. Everything's been turned into like condos or like corporate offices or the like Lululemon. It's
No,
it also almost makes you think.
Well, the removal of private property really is a large tenet in what the enemy wants, because private property lends itself to liberty in a very, very large way. And the more they can kind of take that from you, and that's why Idaho's great, is because it is friendly to small businesses. It empowers the guys that are working hard and really actually building civilization, not tearing it down.
Yeah, because you see a lot of. I'm not going to go on my BlackRock rant. I think you had to censor too much of that one time where I was just like,
likely a lot of talk of tickling people in positions of power who are ruining the everyman's life and making it so families will never own a home and will all live in a pod, and we should probably drag them through the streets and tickle them, tickle.
Yes, you are familiar with basically how my brain worked in regards to that, because like you have, for lack of a better word, and I think it's much funnier to describe it, like the lizards, the lizards,
they're not real people.
They're not real people.
No.
Real people implies they have rights, but like the people at the top, and then you have kind of a quieter turbo corpo self-perpetuating machine of just like, yep, no, we're going to own everything and you're going to like it no matter what. Also, we're going to fund your enemies and make every single piece of media, every single thing you enjoy, like the concept of private property, the concept of like rights, liberty, being able to say what your opinions are online. Yeah, fuck you. We're going to take that away because like private business is being weaponized.
And if you disagree with any of this going on, you're a terrorist.
Yes, you're a terrorist.
Okay.
And you're a ultra mega or whatever the fucking catchphrase is now. When in actuality, it's all just horrifying.
We do be living in some horrifying times, gents.
Yeah, we haven't been deplatformed yet. Somehow, I think podcasts are one of the last places where we can kind of.
Spotify, like, fun fact, people, like, listen on Spotify. Spotify is owned by like not Swedes, like some fucking Scandinavian, like surprisingly based people.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of surprised that this has not been shadow banned. That being said, it did come up on our related to, like, listeners also enjoyed it. It came up with Mike Glover's podcast and the Black Rifle Coffee one. So
no, Spotify.
Yeah. No, Spotify, I don't like you anymore. Go fuck yourself. Like, thanks for not censoring us or shadow banning us, but eat a dick.
Yeah, the worst the censorship has ever gotten on Spotify was during COVID, I think they
Yeah.
got pressured by, Globo Homo and all that to put little COVID. Like if there was even a verbalized mention of COVID, which was
Yeah.
happening, and we were all fucking living through that bullshit. If we'd
Yeah.
mentioned it once, we got dinged like with a little message that said like COVID, blah blah blah, 19 mentioned, conspiracy, blah blah. It wouldn't say anything too crazy, but it would like give a little warning that there's some bullshit in this episode about, it might be disinformation, whatever. And it's like, okay, that was a little gay, Spotify, but all that stuff's gone now.
Yeah.
Which
You know
is
what
cool.
though? If you're seeing little warnings like that on everything, you might be in a psyop. That should
Yeah.
be your first sign.
Yeah, little clue there. First clue. I'm really curious how it's gonna go this election cycle because 2020 was fucking nuts with like everything.
It was awful.
There was disclaimers on. You couldn't talk about anything without disclaimers, basically saying you're a liar trying to like spread misinformation. It's like I was just sharing my opinion, but whatever.
Yeah.
That seeing as my opinion doesn't align with like CNN and Fox and all that, the propaganda wing. Like I guess I'll fuck off and die.
Yeah. My mind jumps to just like every 4 years, everyone gets banned. Like every time something happens.
Every time.
Yeah. And I had it on pretty good faith just from one of the various friends of the page who kind of has fingers in the pot, if you will, that there's a lot of pressure coming from up top to before the election that makes middle management very overzealous with like, what is a catchphrase that gets you banned? What is a content that gets you banned or shadow banned? And there's a lot of people trying to win brownie points by basically cranking those dials to 11. How true that is, I think that there's an element of that. I think there's an element of it coming from the top as well. But I'm basically like keeping our heads down until November is over.
Says the man who drew a British police officer as a target.
I mean, anyone can do. It's a poster. It's whatever they want to do with it.
No, sorry.
It's a
It's not.
poster, yeah.
No,
I mean,
I
if you want to
misspoke.
shoot it, that's kind of fucked up, I don't know why you'd ever do that.
Hey, back the blue, especially the British police.
The British police.
God bless them out there
You misgender
protecting
someone
our
on
freedoms.
X.
Well, I don't know when you're going to release this episode, but hopefully people are already buying your Haitian pet eating target. I'm going to spill the beans on that idea.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna. I got a guide that I want to put out tomorrow, but after that, that's like I want to
Nathan's
strike
gonna
while the
nix
iron's
that.
hot. Yeah?
I said
Oh,
Nathan's
yeah.
gonna nix that and immediately go to this target idea.
Make
Yeah.
that
You
money, dude.
wait. You actually have a guide that's like ready to post tomorrow?
I still got to finish the art on it, but yeah, it's how to dig a fighting position. If this comes
Holy
out on
fuck.
Sunday, this hopefully should have went out by a few days. If it's not, people have my permission to just shame me and call me a piece of shit.
Good.
Yeah,
We
'cause,
keep
I
on
need to
giving
get
them
back
things
into that
to
habit.
bully us about. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
It's like
It's good.
once or twice a month. Yeah, I want to do more.
Hell yeah.
Nathan, just spend more time, spread your life out, delete everything else out of your life, your happiness, your joy, your
Yeah.
work, and just only do
Just
that.
never go outside anymore.
Just-
Just
yeah.
You are an art monkey, and you would be
Yeah.
wise to remember that.
yeah. My output was really good during COVID because I'd get a $2,400 ticket for going outside. So
You live for our pleasure, Nathan.
yeah,
Yeah. Dance, monkey, dance. Oh, fuck.
oh god. But no, it's totally okay. Is that if anything, the flickering light adds a little bit of ambience.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, it adds
All outlet.
ambience to our audio-only podcast.
yeah. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about your photography, like Course of Fire and everything you do with it.
Okay. I started shooting and training and just running guns and then figuring out kit and then figuring out small team stuff and working. And I still love photography. So I'm like, all right, let's photograph it. But I just
Yeah, it's
really
some
didn't
pretty
want to
cool
fill
stuff.
up my, oh, thanks, dude. I didn't want to fill up like my personal Instagram, which is at Nathaniel Von Lind. I didn't want to fill that up with tactical stuff and then get flagged and all that. So I started Course of Fire, which is course.of.fire on Instagram. And it's really just a place to kind of pool all my whatever tactical photography. And it got a little bit of attention from different companies. We have a lot of really good just gun brands in North Idaho that end up becoming friends because I take courses or I train or I just, shoot their product just for fun, just to support them because I'm always trying to support good guys doing good stuff. So it's really it's half memes and then like half like actual photography business stuff. And I try to keep politics off it, but I don't try that hard. So politics will kind of slip out there and there's some spicy ones I've put up too that have kind of concerned my friends and family. Like, dude, you shouldn't be painting targets on yourself. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. But here I go. Don't be tagging the boys at Seaburn Art.
Yeah.
Has that happened? Has someone said that? Okay, I was going to say.
Always
I think I posted one with a message about the Federal Reserve, and that was like the one that got everyone like, how dare you question that deity?
Yeah, how dare you question the powers that
sound money? No.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's really just kind of tagging brands, doing, I don't know, just exploring. It's a different type of photography shooting in a studio with equipment versus just product photography. They're kind of just animals. So
I feel myself slipping so aggressively if I have to do like a whole lot of product photography and then go on and do like a more, moving around like on your feet with subjects kind of shoot. I'm like, what am I fucking doing? Like I recently had a range shoot after just doing like purely product photography for like quite a while. I just got busy with my career stuff and was just not shooting like subjects as much as I was when I was in Arizona. And I was just like, every time there was another photographer on site, shout out to Danny. And she like the shots that I took and the shots that she took, like I was like, well, I was certainly present. And then her shots are like fucking art. Like just the best timing, like great poses, like nothing posed. People would just be like, she would just find the moments. And I used to have like the ability to do that, like out, on a rock or a training weekend with the boys. And just this last time, I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, I've got no anything I'm doing. I'm just present. It's the weirdest thing how quick it can slip and how easy it is to take that skill set for granted if you've done it successfully like once or twice.
Yeah.
Oh, if you're doing like candid, like even at the meet and greet event with you guys here in Idaho,
that must have not been really easy.
You have to be fully focused and paying attention to multiple things going on at once. And I came away from that feeling like I missed so many photos that I should have taken, but I was just standing there watching in awe as like somebody's just mag dumping a belt fed. And I'm like, oh shit, I should have actually taken a photo of that.
Oh wait, that was cool. I was just experiencing it.
Cool.
Yeah,
man, I want a super safety so bad.
It's so safe.
It's super safe.
Yeah,
I felt very safe using it.
Yes, but, I feel very safe having one in my house.
Yeah, but catching photography in action is really an art, and you have to kind of your mind has to be wrapped into it. Posing all the time, like even Nathan here when he was wearing the Avon gas mask stuff, and I saw like the dust clouds had kicked up from the mag dumping, and I'm like, it almost looks like smoke now. Like, let's get him in his mask, like in this pile of smoke. You have to kind of just be paying attention, and the minute you're not, like you're missing opportunity left and right.
Yeah.
So I got a couple out of there that I was happy with.
But my favorite part of that particular moment in the when it was all dusty in the gravel pit shoot was me basically planting my rifle into the fucking gravel as I fucking like stumbled and like you were doing stills and Phil was doing video. I was like, oh, the stills are gonna look sick. The video, because I was the closest to Phil, I was like, fuck, because he was like nice and tight on me, and we were doing like a little
bounding.
Yes.
Yeah. Me, Nathan, and Matt from Two Grunts Inc. And I just fucking stacked it right at the end. Like everything probably looked pretty fucking slick right until the end, and I'm like, ah!
Absolute shit.
Yeah, that gravel was fucking rough, and it ate like all of our fucking gear up. That is the worst my gear has ever been treated. That gravel was fucking
really
just
yeah.
Oh, dude,
it wasn't good. I did like rip my Vertex pants. Vertex pants.
It ripped my triple Ort design pants. That shit's fancy.
That's my home range. Like that's where I've just spent years at. So like I'm used to it. I kid up for it, like tall boots, or you got shoes full of gravel. But yeah, it's definitely taken its toll on my equipment during training. So it shows the signs.
The fact that range has a kill house, like a live fire kill house, is the coolest shit.
And I know the boys that built that. But I do want to give a shout out to Phil, the videographer at that meet and greet. That guy was running and chasing everybody with that camera the whole time. At least as the stills photographer, I got to like take breaks and kind of goof off. And poor Phil, dude, he didn't get any breaks.
He lives for that shit. He's not happy unless he's like 2 meters in front of the muzzle.
Yeah.
And running 15 times as much as all of us. It's wild. That's why I love him.
I chased a couple guys getting stills, but he chased everybody with good video.
Yeah.
Like, holy.
I just kept on checking in on him like, you doing good? But he's like, yeah, I'm good.
I
like, fucking hell, dude.
I want to go back to that range. I actually like. I live almost 2 hours from it, but it's very tempting to get a membership.
Let's go, dude.
I'm down.
Do we shout out the range?
Yeah. Fern and Rod and Gun. They're fantastic.
So we of course we put them on the poster. So yeah, shout out to Fern and Rod and Gun.
And if you're local, Fernand Rod and Gun Club is a collab between actually like militias run a lot of it. But it teams up with the Forest Service because it's technically on federal forest land, and it teams up with local LEO. So it's kind of being multi-supported by different agencies. So you'll have a militia out there training in one bay, and then you'll have the cops in the bay next to them, and everyone's kind of like, hey, we're cool, right? Yeah, we're
hey.
But they're all like good dudes, and even like the cops around here are pretty good dudes. And the more you know them, the more you find out that they're probably in one of the militias, maybe too.
Honestly, like every single experience I've had with an Idaho cop has been hilarious. Like I'm not. So we're at the range 2 days ago, and silliness, bump fire, all that silly super safety, all that stuff. And the sun has gone down. It's like 8:30 p.m. And suddenly a truck rolls into the range with its light bar on, and it's a sheriff. And the sheriff gets out, and we're like, oh fuck! Like, and he gets out, and he's like, hey, yeah, some people called about full auto. Do any of you have class 3? Actually, no, I don't give a shit. Like this is barely paraphrasing. He's like, so it's not illegal to shoot after night, but if you don't mind, please just like
use a suppressor like a civilized human.
Yeah, and just like or wrap up in the next couple hours, but it's okay. You know, you guys have cooler shit than me, and that's pretty great. Yeah. And then he just leaves. Like, okay, he did not give a fuck.
Most sheriff deputies in Idaho are awesome.
Yeah,
Coeur d'Alene PD gets kind of gay.
Yeah, I've
heard
ISP
can be gay.
Yeah,
but sheriff's departments, all my interactions, even when I should have probably gotten at least a ticket. At least they were like, "Yeah, just don't do that again."
Yeah. Oh god, my mind jumps to Aaron Lovelace, our boy.
Yeah.
Getting pulled over by Moscow PD, and immediately they're like, those are cool. Like, what are that? Why do you have cooler night vision than me?
His car's stacked with nods and guns of every kind.
And then like next car rolls in because he calls him and he's like, dude, check out this guy's kit. And it turns out they're just palling around the whole time.
Yeah. Like they call their buddy sheriffs to come see it.
Yeah.
Was that before or after Aaron drilled the rear the trunk lock out of his vehicle?
That was after. That was 2 days after.
Yeah, so they pull up and like this vehicle has been broken into by its owner, but broken into. And then it has God knows how many thousands of dollars of equipment on the inside.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure he was just pulled over so they could say, hey, you got a brake light out.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, if you're going to commit crime, make sure, like, if you heed any advice from me and Nathan ever, just make sure your fucking taillights are fine and you don't have any dumb shit that's going to get you pulled over. Because that is, if you're going to be doing silly things with your friends, make sure your shit is squared away so you can get pulled over with like 5 felonies worth of bullshit in your vehicle, allegedly.
Allegedly, I'd never do that.
Not that Aaron did. I'm talking in a more general sense.
Like in general, yeah.
Yeah, that boy is very above board. But like if you're going to be doing silly shit, just make sure you're your shit's good.
Yeah.
Have you guys done a recap episode yet of the meet and greet? Kind of talk about that at all?
Not really.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a great time to do it since
Let's
you
do
were
it.
there.
Yeah. I mean, the three of us were there.
Okay, what was your favorite, I don't know, incident, part, whatever, any of that? What's your favorite from that meet and greet?
Oh, I've got one.
What?
Publicly embarrassing myself on the pistol plate rack, which I knew would happen.
How did you do? What was your time?
Oh, I don't know. Frank, I don't know if he was fucking with me or if he was serious. He said something like 20 seconds. I was like,
He was fucking with you. That is like very, very bad.
It felt like 20 seconds. It felt like a fucking lifetime. Basically, coming to the meet and greet was an opportunity to see just... I talk shit on myself. Nathan said this. I'm not that bad on my handgun.
You're not that
but
bad.
when you're surrounded by a bunch of like excellent handgun shooters who compete, I'm pretty fucking bad. But
Yeah.
as a Brit, like top 0.5% pistol shooters in the British Isles.
I believe that.
What a boast! What a boast!
Yeah.
That's a silver lining.
Yeah. But
Well, I don't want to like really rub it in on you, but Aaron Lovelace handed me his like 1890s 30-30 or whatever that year that gun was, and
Yeah.
I did the pistol plate with that thing, and I think I got like 6 point something on it. But Frank looks at me and he
Holy
goes, "You're
fuck.
faster than most of the pistol guys."
Yeah, I think the
And that-
average time for that pistol bay was like 8 to 10 seconds, I think.
and his fucking lever action was over 100 years old. How old was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the year on it. Dude.
130 or something.
It was ancient.
It was an old
Yeah.
classic. It was a beaut.
yeah. No,
But he was so stoked. He said he stopped by like a pawn shop or something on the way up, somewhere in like small town Idaho, and they just had like loads of 30-30 ammo for cheap, and he just filled up his.
I love that.
What it was.
Oh, he was shooting that whole thing all weekend. He
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
put more rounds through that thing than some people did their ARs. It was ridiculous. I was like, are you sure it's okay to shoot this thing? He's like, oh yeah.
I love
He shot
Aaron.
the
He's
fuck
just
out
a-
of that thing. He's
He's
a
just a
G.
good fella.
Oh, he
He's a
gave out
fucking
so
G.
much old school ammo with all of his unique old like retro guns.
Yeah,
and
like
he's
the
such a rad
Dragunov.
guy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Aaron. Love you, Aaron.
Yeah, so publicly embarrassing myself and hanging out with Aaron. That's two highlights right there.
There you
Yeah. There is, I just like core memory unlocked. This has nothing to do with the meet and greet, but
Oh, nice. Good.
yeah, God, this is a couple of years ago. I was down in Maine, just or fucking around.
That's up in Maine.
Up in Maine, yeah. So I was up in Maine, fucking
Speaking
around.
to a Canadian.
And like, especially whenever I go to a small town wherever, I always go to the gun stores because they're just fun. They're a little slice of American life. And this little gun store in downtown, like small town, fucking somewhere, they had Ziploc plastic bags full of 30-30 ammo, and it was silver bullets, fucking silver
actual
30-30,
actual silver
actual
bullets?
silver bullets.
Base.
And they weren't that much more expensive than just regular 30-30 off the shelf ammo. And to this day, my thought is like, one, why is it so cheap? Two, what do they know that I don't? Like-
What kind of awful threats was this manufactured for?
Yeah, because like he's not doing it to me. It was not gloriously, or he did not have Craft and Lore do his marketing for him. This is like this is Ziploc bags with the caliber and everything written on it in Sharpie. Why was he manufacturing silver rounds, and why were they marked down to the price that they were?
The wolves, the wolf men, they're coming.
But yeah, 20 seconds on the pistol bay. There is no way. Frank was fucking with you.
Probably, and props
Yeah.
to you, Frank, because I believed you. I was ready to honor kill myself, reload, and just put a fucking. I'm not gonna. I was gonna say put a G9 through my head.
Yeah.
No.
Which thank you, G9, also for being.
Thank you, G9. I did not.
There's no.
Put
Thank
I-
you. There's
I
no
carry
other round
G9.
I was gonna kill myself with.
G9 ammo
Yeah.
is the jam, dude. I love those
The
guys. Those are
finest-
some solid dudes.
Yeah, they're really cool.
Ammo is fucking badass too. It's nasty shit.
Yeah, I think 2 people broke 3 seconds actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
that
the
wouldn't shock
Iron
me.
Moose
That would,
performance guy, and the fella from the range in Central Washington.
And for the listeners, the plate setup was it 5, like 8-inch plates,
I
6-inch
think
plates?
I think it was 6-inch plates from like 15 yards or something like
Yeah,
that from
left.
the holster.
Left to right,
Yeah.
on the draw, knock them all down.
Yeah, my time was I think 3.6, and I came in third. which, like, admittedly, it took, I think, like 2 tries or maybe 3 tries.
Okay, then
Seabonaut's honor is defended by one half of the crew.
It's my only autism. Everything else, I'm just dog shit.
Okay, what about
PRS, what's that?
the carbine run? Did you guys do that one?
I didn't do that
with
one.
the 2 Grunts rifle.
Yeah.
I forgot what my time was, but that I didn't do bad on. I hand me a rifle, I'm fucking smiling.
Yeah.
I came in and Matt from 2 Grunts, he's like, I need you to do the run with the rifle, and so put the camera down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So I did it, and I took first, and then he's like, okay, now watch me, and then he beats me.
Oh shit! That guy shoots though. He fucking shoots.
Oh yeah.
He's like, yeah, I put 5,000 rounds of testing ammo through it in like the last 2 weeks. What are you fucking doing? What?
I really do appreciate Matt from 2 Grunts,
awesome.
like his tism of going really hard into all of the details. And it's still like early with this brand. Look up 2 Grunts, and those are going to be something really soon. They're gonna have a following, a good one, because of his dedication to all of the details.
That guy fucking shoots. He does.
He was the headlining sponsor too of the event.
Yeah, he was. There was them, Cloud Defensive, G9. Advantage Arms showed up, which is pretty cool. Same with Genesis.
Genesis Arms showed up, and we got the full auto mag dump, a 12 gauge AR.
Fucked.
Yeah,
man, I want one. That was my big takeaway. Like, if I don't own a Genesis Arms, then I have not succeeded.
Genesis Arms is also a really rad company of just awesome dudes that I've got to do a lot of photography with. I've got to go to SHOT Show with them to be a photographer and just kind of hang out and support. But I've always been pushing their stuff, and I finally got an SBS out of them in the 7-inch, because those guns are pretty pricey guns.
Yeah, no, they are.
But when you know like what they've done, I've got to hang out and watch them grow. Yeah, and I've got to watch them over the years become what they are, and even like purchase the building that they're in. Like they're taking over and they're growing.
It's good that they're doing well in this economy too. It has not been good for the gun industry lately.
I'm like asking them. I'm like, they're like a little bit slower, but they're still like months out. So a lot of guys buying those guns, and I don't know. I don't know how much of it was just the John Wick 4, where their shotgun was featured, and if you've seen that movie where it's that overhead camera shot, and he's just shooting,
wasting dudes with Dragon's Breath rounds.
Dragon's Breath is just firing up everybody. That's the Gen 12, and I know Taron Butler got him into that film and kind of arranged a lot of that stuff, but.
I mean, there's something to be said about like a cool firearm appearing in a movie, but like when it's a cool firearm that like seriously functions and like is actually an excellent piece of kit, like that shotgun, people have been trying to figure out like the combat semi-auto shotgun for a while, and holy fuck, that thing is a monster.
Yeah, and like whenever I think of 12 gauge ARs, they're usually Turk shit.
It's like Turkish shit. Absolutely. And
it
jams up on so much of the different ammo, and Genesis just eats through all of it. Like it runs it all.
Yeah. I miss my Turk shit M4. That thing actually kind of fucked. I think it was like I've talked about it before. It's like Panzer or something. I keep on reading about Panzer, and apparently they're terrible, so I don't know. But I really liked mine. I think I got a good one.
We talked about Turk shit shotguns for like an hour on the way down to Boise after the meet and greet, and at the GOA goals event out here on the East Coast recently. I was just at the show like handling Turk shit shotguns just like lovingly. I was just like, man, if I could justify throwing $400 at you. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Right now,
on every other round.
Yeah.
Right now, I just can't. But someday soon,
if I got a Turk shotgun, though, it's not a serious gun. It's just something.
No, it's not. Like, no, it's not.
Like a Genesis 12 is like a smile machine, but it's also can be a serious gun. If I buy a Panzer M4. No, I have that thing to just eat shit.
It's for the memes.
Yeah, it's for memes and probably partridge. Quail.
Yeah, anything where it's not life and liberty, it's I'm putting a smile on my face and my friend.
We're here to goof,
and
but like,
and if it fails on me, that's funny.
But if I wake up tomorrow and there's air raid sirens and I don't know, like the aliens and also Chinese paratroopers and Antifa are just like
Antifa parachuting in.
Yeah, they're all doing the thing. and I have to go and I don't know, like fight for life and liberty.
That should be a movie by the guy that did Sharknado.
Dude, I would watch the fuck out of that. And
oh no, Antifa's invading.
If that happened at the same time, I would not grab any shotgun. That is just not even going to cross my mind.
Well, Chad, for you, I know you were behind the camera for most of the meet and greet, but what were your highlights?
I loved the local brands that came out and just kind of supported it. But these are guys that like I know, and I'm telling them like you should be out here, like this is a good thing, and they do. They listen and they care. There's a couple of little gun shops that I kind of like nudged, like you should come out, and they just didn't, and I'm kind of like sad that they didn't.
Yeah.
But I would say the local community has been. There's so much guys who train hard here. There's so much companies starting up. And there's a big lack of community in it where we can all kind of come together. So Nathan and I have been, I don't know, hanging out for a little over a year now or more. Yeah. And we've kind of like talked. And I know that you guys have the pull. And so I was really stoked when he said they were doing a meet and greet because I think it should be an annual thing.
I'd be down for that.
I would love it.
I think that'd be fantastic.
There was a ton of guys on our Instagram on Course of Fire. They were like, man, if I only knew that this had happened, I would have been there. Like it could have been way bigger than it was. And I was actually pleased with the turnout that we had for kind of it not being heavily marketed.
Yeah. We talked about it once in an episode and we did one post while we're shadow banned because I found out we've been shadow banned for a fucking minute.
This is just like the fucking t-shirt thing where Nathan was selling shirts that cost us every single time we sold one.
We paid to sell shirts. The cost was actually several dollars less than we're still migrating everything over. Yeah. The cost was several dollars less than it actually took us to produce.
Ouch. Well, on the community stuff though, like I'm a big community guy. Like I want to see people are training. They are growing in their I don't know, just disciplends.
Yeah,
work
meeting
on
like-minded people.
Yeah, just grouping up. If guys can, so many young men are like lacking a team. Or a good group of men that are like pushing them to be better. And they don't even know where to find this kind of stuff. And so many young men are alienated. They don't know. They don't even know how to be a man. They're probably raised in by their mom and never had a dad. Who knows? But like, there's just too many young men that are alienated, don't have a team, don't have men to teach them how to be a man.
Yeah.
And this community can be really good. There's a lot of toxic elements that need to be filtered out.
Yes.
But there's a lot of just good, positive energy, like pushing you to be better, grow stronger, be better than you were last year. And I want to foster and be a part of that anywhere I can and any way that I can. And it's something I'm willing to invest in because it's investing in my future, my children's future for the community that they're going to be here. And I want the right kind of people moving in, growing in this area and keeping it as a stronghold against all of these forces that are pushing to take over and turn this place into an absolute hellhole that I don't want to see. I want to have some kind of a future. So I'm motivated for community building.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's so funny that that's kind of become a meme over the last couple. I've noticed over the last couple of months, people are like, it's not we've seen people say like, it's not a community, it's an industry. And it's like, maybe to you, like to a lot of us, whether we work in it or not, this is a passion. Yeah. There's so many important things in life outside of guns themselves. It's obviously like it's an important thing. The culture around it is critical and the community around it is critical. Like without that, what the fuck are we getting together for? Like obviously there's institutions like, your local church or, whatever kind of pivotal center thing you have to bring you and like-minded people together, even if they're not like, fighting age dudes like-minded, like just people that want the same future as you do, a positive, safe future that's independent. But
well, there's always going to be the industry or the marketing that's going to see a community comes together and they're going to try to like wring whatever dollars they can out of it. So and I get that. And I'm a marketing guy. Like I have to like sell my product and I have to make a living and provide for my family and all that. So that's fine. But at the same time, like this isn't just a hobby. This is this is bigger than a hobby. This is also like a lifestyle or a mentality or a discipline of, I have to be working on my own readiness, my own capabilities. Like, what are my skill sets and how am I growing that? If I can't even grow a potato, but I can shoot a gun all day, like, I'm limiting what my tool set is and my viability in a future where I don't have nanny government to hold my hand and tell me I'm safe and make sure my pager doesn't explode in my pants.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm trying to grow and become a better man than I was, love my wife and children better, the next, just grow in all of these different disciplines. And it's a lot. Like, as men, like, we're like second class citizens in our culture. It happens in our media. It puts men down as like worthless and losers, and women should rule the world and be in charge of us, and the future's feminine. And America's like one of the last standing countries with, quote, a man as leader. That's a big loose use of the word man, but we're just looking at an age where men are kind of dumped on, and so these young guys growing up on that are browbeaten, and they feel like they're just losers, and so suicide rates are high and mental instability is high. So switching to like a really serious matter is that young men need inspiration and leadership, and we can all sit down and watch the movies like Braveheart and Gladiator and kind of go like, hell yeah, like that's a big drive, but like, what are we willing to die for? What are we willing to live for? What are we willing to fight for? Like, what's it going to take for us to come out of this acceptance of the bullshit that we live in? And we live in a heavy bull, and most of us know it. Like, we watch it on our TV. It's being fed to us, live streamed, every angle. The whole situation looks fruitless, but the thing is that it takes just a small motivated minority. And this is where the term like 3%ers came from. It was during the revolution, it was just 3% of people willing to take an extreme action that was enough to change the tide or push the future into a completely different direction than the way it looked like it was going. So trying to drop white pills on all the guys that are discouraged and are looking at kind of how dark the future is. And I don't want to raise kids and have a family. It's like, no, this is the time you do have kids and raise a family. You are raising the next generation, the fighters, the future. And you can't give up. You can't bury your head in the sand. This is an electric time to be alive, man. This is like, we're like, yeah, it's hard and it's going to get harder, but you have to change your mentality. It has to be a red pill and a hope pill. So, anyways.
No, we do soapboxes. We do soapboxes around here, especially me.
Yeah,
so,
I like it's like things really suck, but they don't have to be.
Yeah.
I think the worst thing anyone can do is just be nihilistic about the future.
Right.
Like everything sucks. I'm just going to crawl into myself and die. And I absolutely agree with the community building, and especially giving young men. Man, this reminds me, I had a conversation last night with my friend Amber, who lives in Southern California, fucking somewhere. And she got in a situation where she went through a walk in the park and she got attacked by a guy. And I'm not going to like get into, she's safe and she's okay. And, it didn't end up getting awful. She got away. But she thought about it and she was like, yeah, I don't know any guys that I would trust. I don't know any.
Yeah.
There's no one that I could call. And, when I did message people, they just responded like, are you okay? And then they went to sleep and just didn't reply again. Yeah. And there weren't any people that she could rely on to be like, hey, I'm not going to be like, oh, women are weak. They need us to fucking spoon feed them and always be there to white knight or whatever. I don't give a fuck.
But they shouldn't be naive.
But they shouldn't be naive. Yeah. And she thought about all the guys in the city in fucking SoCal that she could reply to be like, that she could rely on to be there and help. And she couldn't think of anyone.
There's no men of action.
No.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, the only people that I would have known that could actually have helped in that, there were toxic dudes in the military that I used to date or so-and-so. And like,
their action is dictated by different things other than like honor and duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all very like transactional or kind of,
so what am I getting doing something because it's the right thing.
Yeah.
Right. Like selfless acts.
Yeah.
No. And I love that line on, was it Princess Bride, where he goes, we're men of action, lies don't become us. Like we just speak plainly.
Yeah.
It's an open warfare. Like it's kind of this is what I am, this is what I stand for, and this
Yeah.
is what I'll fight and die for. And that's a mentality that a lot of young men don't have, but they're also kind of rootless. They don't have a code
Yeah.
or a moral compass kind of a thing. They've never experienced it. And so they don't even know. They didn't have somebody to push them, but you can see it where they latch onto military.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of getting that father figure or that guidance.
Yeah.
The problem with our current military is that it's just absolutely degenerate and there's no mission, and it's all about strategic interest. And this is why veteran suicide rates are high. There's guilt in kind of the actions that have been taking place. There's no actual defense of our freedoms that's occurring in any current political military organization right now.
Yeah.
Maybe the Border Patrol and their hands are being tied.
Yeah.
But that's a side rant. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're totally okay. Because you think about it, it's like, what war is just? Like, I think a lot of the guys that we've had on that have served and, in whatever capacity, they feel a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
And especially, my mind jumps to Slade, who I love. Slade's fantastic. And he talks about, like, going to war, and the first thing he sees is Halliburton signs everywhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that we get again and again and again is one of the themes that keeps coming back to a lot of the military guests that we've had, with very little exception, is war was entirely made for the strategic interests of certain companies and for foreign policy, and not actually for the freedom of fucking anyone.
And that's a really tough topic, because most of the guys that I know, and even young men that are like wanting to sign up and they think they're like fighting for our freedoms. And I'm like, okay, let's be like analytical. Like, when was the last time somebody went to fight in an operation where we gained more freedoms? Because really, like, 9/11 brought us the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
Every time you go out and fight, you're fighting for less freedoms for the American people. Now, you tell it to a veteran that is fully indoctrinated into it, they're going to probably punch you out. Like, you got to be really careful who you say that to.
Yeah.
But you'll see some guys who are, they are honest with themselves, and they've kind of overcome it or worked through it. And they go, I recognize that my service didn't do what I thought it was doing when I signed up, and I was trying to do a patriotic duty and a service to the country and my people, my neighbors and family, fighting for freedom. And everyone in Home Depot, like, oh, thank you for your service. And it's kind of like, no one really analyzes what are the end results of the labors of you in your service. And can you honestly say that we are more free or that we are better for it? Or was it more of, you were told you were doing these things and you just kind of believed that?
Yeah.
And that's really a tough topic. And I don't want to like rub people the wrong way, but just analyze all the things and hopefully you'll come to a conclusion of or just do your own homework. When was the last time there was a military operation and Americans as citizens gained freedom of it? And you're going to go back before the Great Wars, and then you're going to go, who was the good guys? And what's the Norm Macdonald little skit he did where he's like, it says here in this history book that the good guys have won every single war.
time.
What are the odds? And it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke at history books are written by the victors.
It's kind of horrifying to think about, like, and I keep on going back to like that invasion of Iraq, because that is something that a lot of us lived through.
Yeah.
And it just kind of happened one day. It just kind of happened like, hey, by the way, we're in Afghanistan, but also this other country that doesn't really have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
They're also here and they might have missiles. Let's go there.
They also don't have central banking. So
we gotta change that.
We gotta change that. We gotta change that.
Bank.
And I remember just like, it was a very open secret. It's like, we're just doing this in the interest of foreign policy.
Yeah.
We're doing this for the...
Oh, I mean, like, I remember being like a little kid and the oil jokes were already everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, like in the earliest days of those wars, which, like, my dad was in the military during that time, and I'm like hearing from people like, yeah, we're just fighting for oil over there. I'm like, no, we're not.
It's like
the news told me
secret.
we're not. We're fighting for freedom, dude. Say thank
kind of the
you,
funny
you
thing about,
motherfucker.
like, back then, in like the pre-Facebook days, you just kind of took everything on faith. And there was internet, but it wasn't, to the degree we have it now, where we carry that little black box in our pocket that gives us all of the everything. And
The Zoomers
No,
are
it's
listening
like
right
there
now.
was no quote Facebook misinformation unquote. Like it was just what the government wanted you to see. You turn on the TV and that's it.
Yeah.
You're getting your truth. Both sides of like the controlled opposition directly from the drip feed of fucking Big Daddy government, and that's it. That's it. I mean, like we had our mimetic culture. Like everyone, at least in my generation, we all went to school pre-Facebook, and we all heard Marilyn Manson had 2 ribs removed so he could suck his own dick.
That's
so,
Damn it! You brought that memory back.
This was like core
Prove
memory.
I'm trying to forget that core memory. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Like, we
believe
all
that. I
heard
believe
that.
that till I die.
Yeah, and like we all knew, like, oh, we're in Iraq for oil, but we didn't have access to the same information that we do now.
Isn't it funny how like Bush did 9/11 was a thing? Like even
Yeah.
back then, like it was just kind of like it was just kind of a thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that like all these truths we find self-evident, but like no one ever did anything about them. You know.
Well, that's the trick though, is they wait long enough to where the generations that would do something about it are gone, and then they release it. So when the CIA, like, what was it last year, released like, JFK was assassinated by us. Like,
wait, fucking what?
Okay, like so.
Yeah, like, I like to say I
Okay.
keep my ear kind of close to the ground.
So I don't know if it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, I forget,
Yeah.
but maybe someone can in comments or whatever verify.
Yeah.
But it was basically documents got released finally, and it was kind of CIA that's admitting like their hand in JFK stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
Kind of like the FBI and Martin Luther King.
correct, yeah. So like they're sealed documents. Like, why are they sealing documents? They're going to wait for enough generations to be gone that would actually do something about it,
Yeah.
and then throw enough of a fit to overturn whatever.
Yeah.
So what's funny is like, even like if you want to nerd out about conspiracy stuff, like moon landing stuff, like, oh, we lost the technology to land on the moon. Well, now they're currently producing a movie with like A-list actors about working with Stanley Kubrick and filming behind the scenes a fake moon landing document. Like, so big name actors are in this movie. And it's like what they're doing is they're just prepping you for the next generation of these young kids growing up going like, oh yeah, we always knew the moon landing was faked.
Yeah.
It was to destabilize Russia and all that. And so they just wait enough time, and then they just reveal like what they did. And I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
That's
Like we've been doing it the whole time.
Yeah.
So what's the term? Like cultural prepping or?
Twilight language.
I haven't heard that one.
You haven't heard Twilight language?
No.
Look up Twilight language.
Yeah.
And this is kind of part of, and if you're going to really go down some lizard people rabbit holes, like this is where they're telling you what they're going to do to you. This is like Simpsons episodes predicting future stuff. Like they're telling you what their plan is, whether it's COVID or anything else, 9/11. And there are all these things that predated that all of a sudden you're seeing and you're going like, okay, like this is going to happen. And you're laughing about it and they're making a joke. And then it normalizes it. Yeah. And then it happens and you're like, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But like even before like COVID came out, like there was a couple of movies that came out, even with like John Cusack. And they're like, we are helping reduce world population. Like we're saving the world in a kind way.
Yeah.
Instead of just murdering people.
Yeah.
We're going to give you a shot and you're going to die from blood clot,
Oh, I remember that. I remember that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, and my mind also jumps to that terrible M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Happening, where trees start killing people I just spoiled the ending.
I haven't seen that one, but.
Oh, yeah. No, it's
what's it called?
Nature. It's called The Happening. It's fucking terrible.
Okay. I got to watch that. Like bad?
Yeah, it's bad.
Okay.
It's really bad. I remember watching it in theaters and getting mad. It's the trees, to protect the environment, start releasing a chemical that makes people commit suicide.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And no one knows why anyone's committing suicide, and then in the end, it turns out it's the trees.
Well, like back to like even like Twilight language, like part of, I mean, the elite, the whatever, whoever's ruling, whatever, is that it's like they're getting permission from you by telling you what they're going to do, and when you don't fight it, then it kind of gives them their pass, and that's like falls into like Kabbalah magic and other. Darker stuff.
Yeah.
Weird rabbit holes if you want to go down.
Oh, super rabbit hole. My mind jumps to like, I don't know. I think you're right, and it disarms people with the whole, and think about it, even what we were just talking about. Like, oh yeah, Bush did 9/11 and also we're in Iraq for oil. Like we all talked about it and we all feel vindicated, but then no one does anything.
Correct.
I'm not saying like, oh yeah, like go do the thing.
Right.
Like then you'll
Go
just die.
throw a shoe at Bush.
Yeah, but like we're all sitting there in like quiet contemplation being like, oh yes, I was right all along, and then goes back to scrolling fucking TikToks.
So like even like like Biden, like Joe Biden, like have we seen him in even like a week, months? Like how long has it been
I
since
saw
Joe
him
Biden?
in
that
an interesting
motherfucker is
AI video
dead.
where he's robbing a bank.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Besides AI videos, like or a body double, like whatever. It's
No,
not,
yeah, I
like,
just saw
Biden-
him playing in a rock band.
yeah. Like
With Donald
he's
Trump
been,
and Hillary Clinton.
but he's been undergoing a humiliation ritual the last few years. Like we all know he's like senile. Like he doesn't have control of his faculties. He doesn't even know where he's at. And they prop him up and it's almost like a mock. Like this is who we have leading the quote unquote leaders of the free world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a rub it in your face. Like the oligarchs, the guys behind the scenes are kind of just rubbing in their face. Like, here's your leader and we control him. And also, oh, here's the next one, Harris.
Yeah.
And she's here. Middle-class family.
You remember back in the day? Oh, yeah, the Harris middle class thing. It's like, oh, yeah, I worked it.
Yeah.
And, like, all of it's so easy. But, like, politicians just fucking lie.
It's absolutely in your face.
My mind jumps to, remember, what was that? Like, Project Veritas, when that was a thing?
Mm-hmm.
And they quietly got rid of it. James O'Keefe. And, like, I found it so cringy, but at the same time, the stuff that came out of it was wild and horrifying.
They brag about it.
Yeah,
what they're doing to us. They brag about it.
They do. And there was the fella from CNN. This lives rent free in my head. He's bragging about like the little red phone that they have in the back room that like sometimes it'll ring and they'll be like, no, this can't be the message. Like we have a message from this and you need to push this in your episode. We need to get rid of this. We need to, and it's so on the surface when we all know that it's happening.
Yeah.
But then I think about my parents and, that entire generation that live on that media.
They it's their God and they can't imagine that their God's lying to them.
Yeah.
And this is where like boomers get the most rap.
Yeah.
Is that they submit to mainstream media as flawless as God. And how dare you try to topple their statue that they worship, their idol.
And
it was on the news.
Yeah, exactly. It was on the news.
As if that is like a statement of it was on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
It must be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what was that? It was another thing that was declassified a few years ago where it was Operation like butterfly. No, I can't remember. Butterfly, something. We've talked about it in this podcast before. And
what was the op?
So it was basically like get CIA assets into every major news corp.
Yeah.
And like the New York Times, CNN, everything.
Which
and
one was that?
the declassified, all of the papers for this basically end with it was a resounding success. That's it. And then it just never went away and we just don't talk about that.
Yeah.
Here we go. Operation Mockingbird was a covert U.S. government
it.
operation run by the CIA to implant pro-U.S. propaganda in American media and front organization, starting in the 1950s. And quite correct. It was a resounding success.
Yeah, it was a resounding success, and they just never got rid of it.
That's 1950s. That's 70 years of them just fully embedded into everything. This is why everything you're watching on your TV is fake. And like you said earlier in this episode, BR, where you're talking about like, I will never believe anything unless I witnessed it with my own eyes. I don't trust video anymore.
Yeah. And I think part of that too is like you look at the way that Russia does propaganda now that like, because I think America and Russia do propaganda in a very different way, but like there's a lot of overlap. On one hand, you have like, USA, fuck this. Like, oh, we're going to implant this. On the other hand, you have like, all right, well, that didn't work. We're just going to fill every airwave with as much noise as possible that you're going to make you question even your own existence. And then you have like the hyping people up side and the demoralizing side, and both of them work. Like
it's the joke that we make so commonly on this show, which is, dude, that was 20 things ago. That was 100 things ago. That was 500 things ago.
Yeah.
It's like the Haitian dick eaters. That was last year.
That was March. That was the spring,
dude. Dude, the fucking bombing, like the RV that blew up in Nashville.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like
exactly.
I forgot about that.
500 things ago. Yeah, who fucking cares?
I forgot about the fact that the CIA admitted that all news is run by CIA assets until just now.
Memory is short. Dude.
Yeah.
There's that meme of Blade Runner 24 where he's like laying on the steps like dying or in the snow, and it's like, I don't know how many, like if the roles reversed I could take anymore. I don't know how many we'll just vote better this year.
Yeah,
like you're just like,
we'll vote harder.
But we keep doing it, and we'll keep going.
It's the super cut of like, this is the most important election of our lifetime.
They cheated last one, but we're gonna vote harder this year.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, they're still cheating, bro. You're gonna lose.
Can we talk about the second Trump assassination attempt? I feel like
Nathan, that was like 5 things ago already.
That was 5 things ago. It was an AK-47 that also wasn't an AK-47. It was like a sporter.
Oh yeah. It was like an ugly bubbered SKS.
Yeah,
an AK-47 like rifle. God damn it!
They'll use it to attack body armor, though.
Yeah, God, I still think everything is gay and controlled and fake.
Yeah,
but like it was very funny to see, and I wonder how long it's going to be until like this guy was a plant. He was a plant of some kind.
He was on our. We were aware of him. He was on our radar. I fucking know. You trained them.
Everyone's on the radar. Legitimately everyone. God.
Wow, it's been like 2 or 3 episodes since we've gone on a good conspiracy ramble. Thank you, Chad.
Yeah.
It's been like 4 things since we did one of these.
But we're hitting conspirate fact, not theory anymore, right?
True.
I think like all of the conspiracy, and I hate this. I hate this so much. But someone a long time ago was like, the people you don't have to worry about aren't the lizards on the top. It's the middle management that just want to protect their jobs.
Yeah.
They want to have use. And I think there's a lot of truth to
The
that.
100%. Like, how many fucking people does it take to run BlackRock? Probably stupid fucking amounts of just fucking grunts that don't give a shit about their fellow man. They will actively fuck over like the average American just trying to own like a basic family home in their lifetime. Nah, fuck you.
If we don't do it, someone else will.
I'm creating profit for the shareholders. Go and fuck yourself.
That was really the strong point of what like COVID did, was it drew a line in the sand. You immediately knew who was the mask guy that was going to cut your throat because you didn't wear a mask and you threatened his family with an imaginary virus kind of a thing. Or like it was no threat, but he was there to kill you or turn you in. Yeah. Everyone wants to blame Germans, like, oh, they turned on, people. It's like, my neighbors left and right were willing to like see me gone and destroyed because I wouldn't wear a mask. Yeah. That's just human nature. And once you study enough history, see it over and over again.
It's really funny seeing the people who like watch CNN and watch all of those things being like, I remember being in a conversation with my family with 3 doctors in the room being like, we're finally going to tackle this. And this is fucking 2021, like tail end of COVID. What'll really make it go away is when we finally start vaccinating kids 3 and under.
It's like, how about I send a fucking to your office? How about that?
Ted Kaczynski? Uncle Ted, no.
The creative censoring in this episode is going to be I enjoy it.
It's always, I love doing it because when I say it, Nathan will just laugh because it'll catch him off guard because he's like, he just made work for himself.
Yeah, he just made work for himself. I didn't have to do it this time.
Yeah. No, I have gone through phases of like, when I first got to this country and when everything was getting crazy, like just furious and arguably righteous anger. And then periods of fucking calm, nama fucking stay, peace and love, Tower of poo and whatever the fuck. Sorry, Mitch. All of that good stuff. And now I'm just back to like, we should.
Men have modes.
Yeah, we should redact it.
This is gonna take some very creative censoring.
Yeah, this is
actually no. I'm not gonna.
We should throw a giant hot dog eating contest. The big hullabaloo.
the big hullabaloo. Come on down. See how many you can eat.
Yeah.
See how many you can eat.
The Haitians would be really good at that.
Back to back, side to side.
Release the Haitians on DC. Eat all of their dicks and pussies. 2020. Release the Haitians 2024.
Release the Haitians 2024. Oh, I'd fun that.
Dicks and pussies.
Yeah. Oh man, just
That's
like
the worst
my,
thing
my
I've
mind
ever
jumps to like Greg Abbott just busing all of the immigrants to
heard.
like rural fucking Colorado and like sanctuary states and whatnot, and then they're just setting up armed gangs. Just bust them all to DC. Just fuck it, bust them all to DC, and
Base.
we'll see how
Base.
quickly like policy changes. That being said, I do think, and we're getting into the really horrifyingly like conspiracy theory again. I do think there is a horrific and very organized push to bring people over from very underdeveloped countries.
Oh, it's destabilization.
Yeah,
It's absolutely there. And all the evidence is there if you'll just look and not trust CNN, what Fox and CNN say.
Yeah, my mind jumps to Lucas in the last Schizocast talking about like, yeah, we have an Irish village of 500 people and they moved 2,000 refugees into it. Like, that's and it's happening across the world all at the same time. But we won't get into that one too much because it will make me schizophrenic.
Yeah.
You get into some weird holes going into that one.
We live in a society, Nathan.
We live in a society.
Like, that's, I mean, I don't live in a community that's currently seeing, like, it's just like we were saying earlier, like, I'm kind of neutral on all of that right now, because everything's a fucking psyop. Like, there's video of it, but there's also video of Biden and Trump playing in a rock band, so I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm seeing. I don't know what's real. Like, what the fuck? I don't know what to do with all this shit. It is also making me feel fucking schizophrenic. Like, I'm just looking at the news and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What?
Yeah.
I'm done.
My favorite Facebook boomerism though is like you know the I don't know, like the armed gangs in Colorado of fucking Venezuelans or whatever the fuck. I don't know who the gangs are this time or last week or whatever.
This time.
But yeah.
They're not the Swedes.
They're not the Swedes. The armed gangs of whoever, and then the
you imagine
was like, hey, the Hell's Angels are rolling into town to come deal with that. And obviously that never happened, and that was just made up. But it was very
hell yeah, brother.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless, MAGA 2024.
Just a bunch of like 50-year-old dudes rolling in with their Tauruses.
They just, can you imagine? They just get the fucking shit kicked out of them, and now the
Bottom
Venezuelan
text.
gangs Venezuelan gangs are Venezuelan biker gangs.
They just got a bunch of free Harleys.
We made them stronger.
Just give them free bus tickets to DC.
Oh fuck! I fully support that.
Yeah,
Join the
$10,000
Art War
each if they get
fundraiser. Yeah,
like I put my taxes into that. Just bus all of the violent ones to DC and see what happens.
I am 100% down for that.
Yeah, you're going to have to censor the fuck out of this episode.
Oh
like
I
there's
always
so
do.
much of the stuff will end us on more lists than we're already on.
Oh,
Good. I'm glad I could facilitate that.
Yes.
Really, we've just kidnapped you for what is, as most episodes seemingly these days turn out to be, an accidental schizocast.
Yeah, it's like we'll have ones where like I got a message from a couple people being like, "Oh, Nathan, your interview skills are really good. You're a nice little serious one." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." And then we do this, and like, "Oh no."
Well,
We're
Keep
back,
them
back to our
guessing.
roots.
Keep them guessing.
I probably didn't help.
You're okay.
They're like, yeah, that you've genuinely had some really good interviews as of late,
Oh.
Nathan. Where like you're like all put together and sensible, and there's only like one or two like vaguely schizophrenic trails.
You say that in like the Forgotten Weapons episode last week. That was like me trying to stay awake after like taking a whole bunch of goat medication and being on 2 hours of sleep. So it was just like stutter pause, and I feel like I could have done that one better, but you did a very good job editing it.
That's the skill set, baby.
Yes, maybe.
Make everyone sound smarter than they are, especially
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
The accent only goes so far. I'm functionally retarded and actually kind of a hick, but
Ah,
no one
women
knows
love
that because I speak nice.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Chad, I feel like we're going to pull this back on topic to
Okay.
what. So your media, and we've asked a lot of the media guys we bring on here. if someone wanted to get into that, especially videography and photography, where would you say you should get started?
Oh my goodness. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Like,
I don't think so at all. I think you're the right person to ask.
The bottom line in everyone is like, what's your drive? Like, are you motivated? Are you self-disciplined?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have that, then you're probably not going to make it. This is something for the guy that lays awake every time his head hits the pillow, or just he's in bed and he's going like, what can I do to be better at this thing? You have to be self-driven. So like we said, we have the oracle of the internet that's waiting there and gives us all information, and all of the years of human history, we've never had this much information at our fingertips. You could literally do and be anything that you want to be, and it's a testament to how depraved and retarded that human nature is, that I can have cheeseburger and twerking instead of I'm going to learn every skill set that I possibly can. And so what you see is a small selection of the community or the people around you that are actually driving in that, and then they have the bulk of it going down the memes or goof off, the wasteful time. And so spend your time learning it. All the information is there. Guys, you can get a college education and beyond on YouTube. Even like leathercraft, like what I know about leathercraft, I learned all for free on YouTube. I just had the discipline to sit there and watch hours and hours and learn it and memorize it and then employ it in my craft. And then after that, it was like, let me learn how to take photos of it. What are these guys doing to make it look so good? Let me go watch videos on how to get my photography, how to get angles, how to learn about things like the golden spiral and rule of thirds and all these different little like disciplines or thoughts that go into photography that appeals and sells. And I know when I'm breaking it, and I get lazy. I'm a human too, and I'm like, I just need to get a post up, so I'll throw a photo if it just helps kind of like show people we have this in stock.
Yeah.
But if you want to perfect your craft, it's up to you. You can pay a college professor a lot of money and go into debt and pay interest, but that's the lazy loser way. Don't do that. Challenge yourself, be better, go after it, learn it, and then perfect it. And that means you have to do it daily.
Yeah.
Whether it's shooting guns or shooting a camera, you have to just do it all the time, and you have to figure out, where am I weak? How do I fix this problem? And you have to be critical of yourself. Like, be highly critical of yourself all the time. Like, be your own worst critic, and that's going to help drive you to polish those rough spots, get better at it. So I guess that's kind of what I would say. And I know where all my weaknesses are and where I'm rough or lazy or just fast. I'm trying to get it done versus like what I imagined it and what I want it to be and what equipment I need to even achieve that. But I also try to surround myself with guys who are excellent at this kind of stuff and hold themselves to that standard. And I try to riff off of them and learn from them and ride some tailcoats and emulate it, Yeah. So I have a bunch of brands that I look up to in their marketing, and Nathan and I were talking about it before the podcast. Like, some of my favorite Instagram accounts that, as far as media, is like Radiant Weapons, Spiritus. These are guys that just everything that they post is a banger. Like the photographer, they care. So I'd say being really careful and consistent in your branding is going to help you. So that's just a discipline matter.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Radiance, Spiritus, like 100 Concepts is doing banger shit lately.
100. I met those lads recently, or at least they're marketing guys, and they're really fucking cool dudes. And I mean, they're crushing it with what they do as well.
Yeah, and Austin, who we had on the Mojave Repeater episodes, he's really good at what he does.
Yeah.
Like agency, there's people who are really, really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be for photography and marketing stuff, but I don't know. Just look at what other guys are doing and work your hardest to emulate it and understand how to even achieve it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I would push.
I think a big thing I'd like to add, if I may, a lot of people talk about that, and they'll hear something like this and be like, I don't have time. And some people really don't have time. That's totally fair. If you work a 10-hour day, you come home, you make some food, and you fucking go to bed. But there is an equal, if not greater, contingent of people who will go home, sit on the couch, and watch 4 hours of reels.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not that you don't have time. It's that you are stacking your time in a way that is sabotaging yourself. What are you getting out of I Can't Has Cheeseburger and twerking? Yeah. It's not necessarily a lot. It's
no, 100%. It's so easy to fall victim to.
Yeah,
and like
I've done it. Like I don't watch. I have a zero reel rule. Like if I watch a reel, it's because someone sent it to me, and it's like one of the 10 that got past my filter of not watching reels.
Yeah, if
Um,
I'm watching a reel, it's because I'm being polite to a friend. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
yeah, and it's all designed to get you to like
Hooked
sit
in.
and consume.
Yeah.
And I think it says a lot. And I don't want us to be like China a fucking bit, but it says a lot that in China's TikTok algorithms are pushing people towards educational content and self betterment, whereas ours is pushing us towards like e-girls.
Yeah,
Degeneracy.
basically self-destruction. Like, whatever your vice or, like, path to being fucking useless is, it'll find it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, do you want to watch misery porn for 4 hours? Do you want to watch, like, girls, like, shaking their ass in your face, or food,
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck? Like, they will
So-
find you a vice and put it to use.
This is back to like self-discipline and mindset. And I don't know if BR is going to disagree with this, but at the meet and greet, I made the comment about poor is a mindset, and you were kind of like, is it though? Anyways, to dig deeper into that, it's like the guys that can afford a $10,000 vehicle, but will complain that they don't want to buy a higher end, let's say, weapon platform that costs a little bit more but can perform more. It's like if you have the discipline to spend the money on a vehicle that can be reliable, and $10,000 on the low end of a reliable vehicle, we're talking about like you can make the effort to save up for night vision. So guys that like want to train all the time but like won't invest, it's like, no, you just have to shelf the $8 Starbucks coffees once a day for a few months, maybe a year kind of a thing, and you can have a superpower if you have the discipline to just save up towards things that are better for you than the little life pleasures like, a mocha choca bullshit for that every morning for DoorDash or whatever. Yeah, DoorDash. Just cut out all the little things, and it's a discipline. And so the poor being a mindset isn't at face value can be BS, but at the same time, if you have discipline, you can start saving up for the things that really matter. Vehicle matters, a good fighting platform. If you're serious about your training matters. And then anything else like buying property, buying a house. Like a lot of guys will make every complaint in the world why they can't own a home, but they're unwilling to cut out a lot of things. Or, even in my last house, my house that I bought, like I had to live with my in-laws for 6 months, and that was very difficult.
Yeah.
But it was a difficulty worth it because of the payout. Like, what are you willing to do to get the things that you want or how you want to be? And then that's what separates the men from the boys, or from the guys who have a mindset of I'm gonna work and I'm gonna suffer through hard things to have gains.
Yeah.
Go ahead, BR. You can counter that.
No, I agree and I disagree. I mean, like it's all circumstantial and stuff. I mean, me and my fiance, we were fortunate enough to be able to get a home in fucking 2020 right before things got crazy, but it's not like we bought a family home and like that was that. Like we had to have roommates and that fucking sucked, even though they were friends of ours. Like it's fucking rough, like making that sacrifice. And every waking moment I wasn't editing shows, training, working, or whatever, I was like working my fucking ass off renovating that house and like landscaping in the back in like 100+ degree weather. Like, I was fucking working for it. And, currently we're renting it and eventually we'll sell it. And all of that fucking blood, sweat, and tears will pay off someday if BlackRock doesn't fuck the economy too bad. But like, it takes time, like success and getting to a point of security and comfort. Like over the years, I agree that poor is a mindset if you don't you have to be fucking aggressive and you have to advocate for yourself and you have to have basically you have to have ground to stand on and fight from to advocate for yourself. Like if there's no reason basically for you to be in an elevated position, basically to get beyond like working that shitty 15-hour job that so many are trying to escape from. Like if you're not working on yourself to get beyond that, like you're gonna be stuck there. Like don't expect to be given, and it fucking sucks. Like hate to be the one to break it to people, but whether it's fair or not is irrelevant. Like,
Right.
the economy is the economy. The economy doesn't
World's
give a
not fair.
fuck. Yeah, and the dollar has been like the value of the dollar has been robbed from your great grandchildren. Like,
Correct.
so like you're getting a rough deal, they're getting a way shittier deal. Like,
Correct.
now's
And I
now's
guess
not
to
the time.
clarify, I wouldn't say that rich or poor is really a financial fiat currency invented imaginary number. To me, like real wealth has to do with your community, your family at large, like
Oh fuck
who
yeah.
are the valuable people in your life. Because I know guys with like 7, 8 kids and they make $40K a year, and I would call them wealthy because of the generational, like what they're invested in blood now, and that is going to always have a bigger return, even with problems and family disputes, whatever you name it. Like they're still stronger because of blood ties over dollar bills that can be sucked away by anything at any given moment.
Yeah, you're like obviously salary and stability with your finances make everything easier, but like quality of life is so much more important, and like finding whatever the balance is for you, whether it's grinding yourself to fucking paste to have the salary that you want to be comfortable, or if it's having the lifestyle and foregoing you know a significant salary. Like it's all relative to what you want out of life. Like I
Yeah.
I do not. I'm already driving my dream truck, and it is like a early 2000s, slightly rough looking pickup, and I fucking love that thing. It's my future
Good.
technical, and that's my dream fucking truck. I don't-
That means
like-
you're happier and wealthier than a lot of guys ripping around in a Lambo who contemplate eating a shotgun.
Yeah.
Oh, dude! Every single time some fucking in a fucking Corvette rips past me, I'm like, your wife is fucking someone else right now. No, like there's so many people, like there's a lot of people who consider themselves men who, and like, I'm sorry car guys, I'm not shitting on you directly, I'm shitting on a certain type of car guy, but like there's
For,
some
for
people.
me, it's how much money they put into putting a spoiler on a Subaru. Sorry, continue.
No, I mean it like there's some car guys who are like, that there are kind of people, and there's some
Yes.
who they're so wrapped up in materialism and how they present to other men that it's fucking effeminate. Like there is
Yeah,
something
it's like the same
extremely
thing as-
gay about that kind of lifestyle. It's like, dude, I would die happy with the pickup truck I have right now. Like,
Yeah.
sure, I could get a more powerful one that might be more capable, whatever. And like, would that be nice? Sure. If I drive this same truck the rest of my life, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And
Dude,
there's
I
so
want
much
my
shit like that.
fucking 2014 Prius V to last forever. I want, like, I love that car so much. I kind of just want to get another used one
It would
when
be
it dies. But I'm going to keep that thing as alive as long as I can until it becomes like a money pit.
dude, that's some sitcom shit where like you have a whole episode dedicated to the main character getting a new vehicle, and they have this like reliable car that they've had the whole fucking series. They pull up to the lot, and car salesman's trying to, you can fit so many fucking illegal SBRs in this, whatever. Trying to sell you on something that's like 60K, and you're like, actually, nah. How much is that one? Next scene cuts to you driving like a 1 year newer model of the same fucking Prius that you've been driving for like the last 10 years.
Dude, they discontinued them in 2018, and I hate that.
Fuck!
Yeah.
You'll buy a 2018 then?
I would get a 2018 one just with fucking 100,000 miles on it or something. Like buying new cars is basically a scam these days.
Plus
I
they
get
can
it,
fucking
that.
shut them off. You have
Yeah.
to have a fucking subscription to unlock the fucking 80 mile per hour package.
Dude, it's wild. I remember I was dating a girl a while ago, and we crossed over the border, and it was like, ding, welcome to next state, and it was horrifying. I hated that. We weren't even GPSing. It just does that every time you cross the border.
No.
I did not like that. It was like
You
20
are illegally
21
crossing
to
into Mexico. What?
Yeah.
A little invasive.
Hey, that's none of your fucking business, Toyota.
Yeah. If you press both buttons at the same time, it turns on auto adjust. Sorry, how do
No,
you?
the lads are starting to dry fire and index and shit, so I can tell
Yes.
I can tell we're getting a little bit long in the tooth. But
Yes, we are coming up on 2 hours.
yes, sir. That's when we try and call attention to the time and try and find a way out. Otherwise, we end up talking for like 4 hours.
Yes.
Um,
Oh
and
God.
Spotify, I've learned Spotify doesn't like that. Like my files, it has massive problems with longer episodes.
Yeah.
It gets really fucking pissy. So
Yeah. It cuts it at like 3 minutes again. That's
yeah.
happened a couple times.
Oh my god, that was so fucking maddening.
Yeah.
I release an episode and then I get like fucking 15 texts from different people going like, "Hey, you realize the new episode's like 3 minutes?" I'm like, "I'm going to kill myself publicly to restore honor to my family name." I apologize for that. So anyway, with all of that said, Chad, is there anything else you'd like to share with the people before we start to get out of here? Barring plugs, because we'll get all of that too.
Yeah.
Cool. Closing thoughts, I guess. Everyone, keep the white pills on. Don't be discouraged by what's going on around you. This is just an interesting time to be alive. So stay ready. Keep your head on a swivel. Train. Be better. Be a better man. Be a better woman. Just be better than you were last year. Figure out where your rough spots are and smooth them out. Embrace your family. If you aren't talking to family members, this is a good time to analyze that and maybe reach out and make sure that you are not the problem in the equation, but you are a problem solver and a solution guy or girl, and just kind of push forward and growing your community and encourage people, lift them up, and prepare.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
That brings to mind one thing that I can't say often enough on this show, which is like guys, train with people that you would introduce your wife to or your girlfriend.
I
or
like
whatever,
that.
and that you would feel comfortable being around your kids. Like if those boxes aren't checked, fuck those people. Like straight up. Simple as that. Enough said. Yeah, with that, Mr. Chad, we do need one thing before we leave, and that is dad advice, which we have shamelessly stolen from Grand Thumb for like 3 years, and we'll continue.
I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't take that from Grand Thumb. That was us. We did that first.
No, actually, you're right. That was us.
That was us. Yeah.
Oh man.
This is you made this. I made this.
No, we made it.
Okay. So, as you guys are the originators of dad advice, and it's never been done before.
It's never been done before.
Completely new concept.
Let's see.
Dads have never given advice before.
Well, man, I almost feel like I already just dumped a lot of my dad advice. But
that was actually very good dad advice.
So,
now you got to think of another.
now I got some more.
Yeah.
Okay, double down
you
on
both
it.
gave dad advice, so this is going to be the third piece.
Okay, this is going to be a very dad advice rich ending. Well, I guess besides the white pill stuff, I don't know, repent, turn to Christ, and love your I don't know.
They've
drawn blanks.
They're just like dry firing.
Yeah, no.
Nathan's doing dry fire target transitions. Repent, turn to Christ. Nathan's like A, B, A, B.
Kind of thinking that was my my final shot into the void here. So
hell yeah. Well,
I have one piece of dad advice, if that's okay. If I may just steal his.
We're done. All right. Okay, bye. Go for it.
Buy a shot timer. That's it. Just buy a shot timer. If you don't have one, there's like 2 ways to measure if you're getting good at something. That's accuracy and speed. It's like accuracy x speed. There's only one way to figure that out. It's a shot timer. There's no good apps. Trust me, I've tried. I wasted like $40 just getting like every shot timer app one day when I forgot it. None of them works. Maybe they fix that in fucking the year of our Lord 2024. In the meantime, a Shooters Global or a Pact is like $100 to $130 on eBay. So do that.
Based.
You will not know if you're getting better unless you have an objective measure of how good your performance is. And if you're one of those people who just like stands on or like does flat range shooting on your own time and you never actually push anything to get better, then you're not actually getting better.
Okay, here's a follow-up to that then.
Yeah.
Take that exact same rule to your shooting. Now apply it to your relationship with your spouse. Now apply it to your position at work. Are you better at your job than you were a year ago? Or find a new discipline and start applying that to. Find a metric to measure where you're at and push beyond.
I love that. That's actually good. I like that a lot.
There you go. That's what life's for. All
Yes.
right. Well, Chad.
So before we wrap up, shill yourself. Tell us about
Yes,
you,
correct.
your companies, and where to find
Okay,
you.
you guys can follow me on Instagram at Craft and Lore, where I make handmade leather goods. You can follow my photography tactical business at course.of.fire. And I have a brand new startup called Blitz Defense, and that's on Instagram. But yeah,
Soon to be contacted by the Department of Defense.
yeah, I have had the FBI come into my shop and ask me about my shooting shenanigans before.
Wait,
so,
actually?
yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Real story.
Yeah.
Originally, I had an Instagram account. It's dead now. It's up there, but it's Parabellum Boys, and it was just a group of my buddies that we would train and shoot with. And I had it was probably a CI or an informant guy or whatever, just come in and go, "What's Parabellum Boys? Do you know what Parabellum means?
Yeah.
And why are you what are you training for?"
Oh my god.
And I'm like, "Dude, you're glowing so hard right now, bro."
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But to even cycle back further, I've had the FBI come to my house. Probably about 15 years ago, there was somebody set up a backpack bomb in Spokane.
Holy fuck.
At the MLK parade. And this is a false flag story, by the way. So what happens is this backpack sitting on the park bench right where the MLK parade was going to march through downtown Spokane.
That's awful.
Neon blue wires are hanging out of it. It's just obvious what this thing is. So they stop the parade and EOD comes down, and it's just an obvious thing where there's a T-shirt in the backpack with someone's DNA on it. It's like, okay, like they're gonna find some loser with no alibi, no friends, and he's said radical things online, and they're gonna throw him away.
This is a get department funding increase for next year kind of thing.
And so they sure enough did after a month of looking for this guy and his DNA. And the sheriff at the time in Spokane was like, "It's the most advanced backpack bomb I've ever seen. It takes a garage door opener to set it off." And I'm like, man, I don't know how close you got to be to your garage door, but I wouldn't want to be next to that bomb with a garage door opener. So anyways,
it's like a weirdly good Donald Trump impression for a second there.
Thanks, dude. Didn't even mean to, but I guess it did kind of come off that way.
Yeah.
So they find the guy, and I take the photo that the cop took of the backpack with all the neon wires hanging out of it, and I put it up on a local news Facebook page. And I'm like, guys, this is an obvious false flag. Like, no one's going to leave their T-shirt with their DNA on it. No one's going to leave the bright blue wires hanging out of it. Like, this is obvious false flag. The very next morning, like, bright and early to where I'm still waking up, I'm getting a knock on the door, and these two guys that had Oregon plates on their vehicles and flashed their FBI badge at me and said, "Hey, we know you've had business dealings with this MLK parade bomber that we picked up."
What?
And so I just go, I give them the 5 words. I have nothing to say. And I close the door, and then they continue the conversation with me through my door. And so they're like, "We have this folder here, and it shows that you've done, had a business with this guy." And I'm like, "That's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I don't care what's in your folder." And they're like, "Well, we know from phone." I'm like, "How do you know?" And we're talking to the door, like, "For phone transactions and this and that." And I'm like, "Okay, that doesn't show on a phone transaction, but if you'll give me the folder, I'll take a look at it." And they're like, "Well, we can't just show you this." And I'm like, "Okay, you guys are full of shit." And they're probably just shaking trees and trying to scare people, but these guys both looked like, I don't know, Blackwater kind of guys. Like, one guy literally had a scar coming down through his face, across his eye.
Back when feds was scary.
Yeah, they look like bad dudes who have done bad things to little brown children across the world. So I remember that was, and I was active in the Kootenai County Constitution Party at the time, and we had kind of been a little bit infamous for shaking the tree in the local government and pushing freedom and open carry and whatever, just all kinds of stuff. So
horrible terroristic things.
Yeah. So, and people were calling us all kinds of names. We had news stations camped outside my house and other guys in the party's house, but that was an old FBI story. And I want to say that was 2008, maybe 2009 It was a while ago.
Wow. Back when feds were actually like had fucking multiple bodies, and now they look like, you know, white dudes for Harris.
Yeah.
What a transition.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you want to air that story or not, but that was the first time I had feds.
If you're willing to share it, I think you know, it is my feeling that we should pull back the cloak of like not talking about that shit, because like fuck these guys. Honestly.
It's also
It's
been, like,
KG.
so many people who've been on this show have had interactions.
Yeah.
And like
Well,
so many people we know, and like it's not as uncommon as you think. People just don't want to talk about it.
No, it's
It's
Gestapo
always that
KGB
exact story. It's
shit.
they're shaking the tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
they're
we
fucking-
know you had dealings with so and so, but we can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's
fuck
the
you.
same
Then
fucking
get the
MO.
fuck off my porch, you fucking losers.
Yeah.
Like that before we fucking wrap up, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Being Libertarian and a couple other people shared this video recently of like, you know, feds approach door and the guy's just like, yeah, aren't you guys embarrassed? Basically, like, really?
Oh,
like,
I know. I want to have that talk with them, but I know they're too sold into what they're doing, or they wouldn't ever be here.
Yeah.
And then
yeah,
it would
they're
follow on
protecting
the
their 401k.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in here for dollar signs. They're just
Yep.
mercenaries, man.
Oh, absolutely. But
They'll
anyway,
sell out their closest family if it got them $1.
absolutely.
I have
Not a-
heard, and this is kind of like I've brought this up in the show before, because who knows if there's any efficacy to this? Who knows if it's real? But like someone who worked within the FBI was releasing things, being like, yeah, actually, and this is an open secret. Like the retention is dog shit. Everything is dog shit. People are leaving left and right. All this DEI shit is causing morale to plummet. We have basically like weekly HR meetings about like, you know, insert fucking gay corporate thing. Retention is awful, and no one feels like they're doing good anymore. So
Good. You're not.
Yeah.
You should all
You're
go
not.
home and take toaster baths and just let your wife's boyfriend have her,
Yeah.
fuck off, and die.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, get a job in the private sector. It'll sell. You'll do better. You'll do better.
Your
Like-
soul might grow back. Repent and find Christ if you're in the FBI.
Christ, and why would you want to work for the ATF or any federal government agency? Like, why would you sell your soul for so cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
You're all whores. And on that note, thank you, Chad, for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you having me, dude.
anytime.
Hell yeah, man. It's been a pleasure. All right. Until next time.
Party on.
Yes.
Okay, bye.
Party on.
Okay, bye.